Cosplayers, what's one cosplay you will never do again and why? My sis and I dressed up as Zatanna for a con. A guy asked to take our pictures together. Our boobs accidentally touched and he outright moaned. Joke's on him. I'm flat cheated, so those boobs were filled with socks. Plague Doctor. The mask bent and the goggles fogged up. Fell way too many times. Pyramid Head. A whole slew of reasons ranging from it is very hard to move, see, eat, drink, literally anything, and this is the complaint with just a head. Now add in a skirt, dress like bottom and the sword. It is very uncomfortable to walk, hard to sit down, and if the weather makes a slight turn to cold you really have no way to put something on that doesn't look completely ridiculous. Bison. My costume caught on fire going too near a heat source, and severely burned my legs, lower back, and butt. I tried 3D printing an entire Iron Man armor. Took forever to get just the arms and they looked terrible. Rook or any Shinigami in Death Note because it was a lot of work for people to just think you were from Kiss. One year I did Pinata. It was fun as hell, but it was a layer of fabric, a layer of Eva foam, and then all the fabric on top. It was absolutely roasting and next to impossible to see. Not exactly cosplay, but I went to a Halloween party as Waldo once. Terrible idea, everyone wants you hiding in the back of their photos. And you hear haha I found you at least 800 times. Never again. Professor X. THRE. Only reason I chose it was because I had torn my LCL and still wanted to attend the event, so I rented a wheelchair so I could get around the event. So many people came up and sat in my lap thinking I was just cosplaying as him. Thank goodness my friend's parents lived close and we went and grabbed ice packs that we threw on my knee so people would quit doing it. Who just plops down in a stranger's lap without asking? I don't understand how these people function day to day. Literally anything that small kids will get excited about. I cannot handle that type of pressure. Creeper form Minecraft for Halloween. I decided to not cut armholes because creepers have none. Also the costume went over my legs and I had limited mobility. Slenderman. I got really into the craze back in the day being a 6'3" skinny dude. And I thought of myself highly for having been a Marble Hornets fan car before the game was ever released. The issue is that I have a big head nose, so through the morph suit you'd just see all my features, including my dark brown hair and smooshed nose. I ended up having a sore nose for days, and the soles of my morph suit were extremely darkened from walking around in platform boots for hours on end. Rorschach. I saw almost nothing under that mask and couldn't enjoy anything. Dr. Roxo. Nobody wants to see that. KUHKUHYEAHHH. Real reason is while fun I have no place to put anything, no pockets, nowhere to store cash, ID, and if it's cold, forget about it. Also, seriously, nobody wants to see that. I kept it screen accurate, no kid-friendly steps, and I wore it to age-appropriate events. Goku. Back in college I had long curly hair, and a girl who was amused by it straightened it and used hairspray to get it to stick straight up. Then I used black spray on it, though it was so big, I would have been better off going Super Saiyan. After college I chopped my hair, so impossible to do it justice again. Graffiti skin tracer from Overwatch. Paint kept transferring from the gas mask onto my face and my mask was literally dripping water from my breathing. It was hot and stuffy and gross. One of the 300. I'll never be in that kind of shape again. I dunno, you can fake the hunch pretty convincingly. Daft Punk. I decided to use a privacy screen as the screen part and couldn't see more than about 3 feet in front of me at certain mathematically significant angles and 0 degrees in other angles. I dressed up as Robot Unicorn from the Flash game and got hit on by 5 French guys. I'm a straight guy. Also glitter everywhere. I'm a straight guy. To be fair, you were decked out in rainbows and glitter. I can see how that might be a mixed signal. Faye Valentine for Cowboy Bebop. Not because of awkward guy comments, but because of other lady cosplayers that would come up to me and talk about how Faye is a good starter cosplay because I guess it's not intricate enough. I got tired of the condescension. Recruit from Rainbow Six Siege. Everyone thought I was a terrorist and had to leave. Darth Vader. Wore it for years in 2-hour stints. Vision is awful and zero skin is shown anywhere, so it's hot. Real hot. Lots of wiring for lights and sound mean there's always something that can and does go wrong. Lots of kids coming up and randomly pressing buttons on the chest. Plus the cape is hard to control. Now I keep him permanently displayed on a 6'5" mannequin. Stormtrooper. It was custom made to fit me and I was so uncomfortable in it. It was hot and I couldn't see. I also would be lucky if I came out of it without cutting myself. Well, at least you now know why they can't shoot for shit. I use a wheelchair and I was a Dalek 1 year. It was very popular and I had a lot of people wanting pictures, but I couldn't fit through doorways and kept hitting people. I once went to a Halo convention as Church from Red vs. Blue. Midway through the con, I had one of my friends pretend to kill me. I felt so bad for him, because everyone was screaming at him, "You killed Church. You teen-killing fucktard. If I ever do it again, I'll claim to be Epsilon instead." Bane. I'm a bodybuilder and have a shaved head, so why not? Couldn't breathe. My lungs didn't care who I was until I took off the mask. Princess Zelda. I got a lot of compliments, but also an uncomfortable number of guys kept trying to flirt with me. Might have been even weirder if I wasn't a straight dude. Lucy Heartfilia from Fairy Tale. So, the costume itself wasn't the problem. It's pretty simple, to be fair, but it had other issues. Firstly, I have small boobs and the character doesn't. The amount of people that mentioned this was unreal. Secondly, the character wears a very short skirt. I had a few older men follow me and harass me because I was wearing it. Also, it was mid-October in the north of Scotland, so it was freezing cold. Lord Business from the Lego Movie, or actually any Lego character for that matter. The head was too heavy, and I could barely move. Snow White. I wore it to a major comic convention and people would not let me walk. Parents were literally shoving their children into my arms and making me take pictures with their kids. Kids were flocking to me, only nice part, and parents were pushing each other around to take a pic with me and their child first. I was trying to take the shuttle to the convention and I had a small crowd around me that would barely shift so I could get into the shuttle. My boyfriend at the time had to literally yank me and run away into the shuttle because we almost missed it. The same thing proceeded to happen in the shuttle, off the shuttle and attempting to walk to the convention. And at the convention, after 2 more hours of this, I demanded we go back to the hotel so I could change and actually enjoy the convention. The worst part was people shouting, "It's Cinderella, it's Sleeping Beauty. No, people know I'm Snow White, dang it." I did a One Punch Man cosplay at Comic-Con. I shit you not, about an hour in, a guy that was playing one of the enemy characters from the first season 1, believe the leader of the aliens that invaded on that huge ship, came sprinting down the walkway and punched me square in the stomach as hard as he could. I unconsciously tensed my muscles up so that absorbed a lot of the impact, but if though it looks like I was fine, I felt like both my lungs had collapsed and about 3 ribs punctured my stomach. No-Face from Spirited Away. At least not in public. I was accused of racism, asked to leave the subway, then taken aside by a very angry subway security employee and had to frantically find a photo of No-Face to show him to avoid more trouble. In fairness, he then was very concerned and helpful and advised me to take the costume off before I got myself beaten up by someone. My hometown has a very big Arabic population, so I can see why they thought I was being an asshole. What with the black cloak, black paint on my arms and the gold-painted pebbles in my hands. Shadow the Hedgehog. It was a mistake and I don't think I need to explain further. Sailor Moon. I felt beautiful and powerful, but the groping and upskirt pics they think they're so sly were repugnant. Out of all of the cosplays I've made, the most awkward is definitely Elma from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I've always worn her to summer cons and my horn would fall off every time. But the worst time was when it literally broke off and left residual model magic on my forehead. Also, the fabric I used for the tail stained my ass blue. Thanks Yaya Han. Literally any kid's character. Parents need to control their children at cons. The number of times I've had kids pull at capes or sneeze on my cosplay or whatever is infuriating. Edna, from The Incredibles. I am a short gothic lady and at the time had the same haircut as her. Went as her for a Halloween party and it's my nickname ever since. Especially when I'm angry. I hate it. Back when the Assassin's Creed games were in their heyday, I cosplayed as one of the assassins with a few of my friends who were also assassins. For example, one of us was Connor, one was Ezio, another was Edward, etc. I spent a lot of time on those costumes and the props, so I have no problem saying they looked good. We got a lot of attention, including getting stopped for literal hours at the PlayStation booth for pictures because a few other assassins joined and we had the whole fam-damily. The problem? I am a girl, and a short one at that. My friends who cosplayed with me are tall boys. So at the risk of looking like a pop vinyl next to them, I had to wear boots with a significant heel on them to help give me some height. It was brutal. We only got tickets for the one day and it was hours spent on our feet in poses, and we had to stop every few feet for pictures. Don't get me wrong, the pictures were awesome. It made all the time and effort worth it. But I was in absolute agony. At one point when we all took a bathroom break, I took off my boots and put my throbbing feet on the cold tile floor. Judge me all you want. It felt amazing. Thankfully, some people who wanted to take pictures with me noticed I was in pain and out of costume and just chatted with me and waited to take pictures until after I got the boots back on. I had to call it quits early on and missed out on looking around as much as I would have liked. Even trying to leave the huge convention center was slow because I kept getting stopped. When I finally got back to the hotel and took my boots off, I had huge blisters on the top of my feet, on my heels, everywhere. It ruined the rest of the weekend for me. A couple of years later, I went as Lara Croft from the newer games and got to wear flat, grippy boots with a nice gel insert. It was heaven. I dressed up in a pun costume that was a mix between Inspector Gadget and a go-go dancer. I was Go-Go Gadget. I had neon fishnets, string lights in my trench coat, light-up glasses, and all these other rave gadgets. I wouldn't do it again, because wearing Heelys for hours tore up my feet. Heelys are a way of life. Your feet and knees are too weak for the way of the wheel. Made a pretty great Solera Vestora costume with real chain mail and armor, and holy shit, after 6 hours of wearing that heavy ass metal, my back, shoulders, and arms were wrecked. Master Chief. Every Halloween at school I would wear an over-the-top costume, and for my senior year I wanted to go above and beyond. So I worked overtime to buy Halo 4 Master Chief armor. Only problem was that the armor pieces were made of plastic, so I couldn't sit completely down without breaking the thigh pieces. So I had to go through every class squatting over my seat instead of actually sitting in it. My legs were killing me at the end of the day. Also, my costume was very loud. The sound of plastic rubbing against each other was terrible. Now I usually go for smaller cosplay. This year I went as a vault dweller and I could actually move and stuff. Widowmaker. I felt like my tits were gonna pop out of that suit at any second, and the body paint, tattoos were always rubbing off cores of the suit and armor. Also, someone bumped into me and broke the end piece of my gun and a piece of my armor. It was so uncomfortable. Never again. Any version of Harley Quinn. Nobody knows how to behave around Harley. Not thirsty Harley fanboys. Not Joker cosplayers that are a little too in character. Not neckbeards who want to quiz you on your Harley knowledge. Not other Harley cosplayers who have an issue with what version of Harley you picked or how accurate your cosplay is. Every Harley I've met has been given hell for their cosplay for one reason or another. I only did Lego Harley twice and got minimal shit for it, but I've met multiple Suicide Squad Harleys who were literally suicide baited online and pushed around at cons by people who hated the character. Never again. I did 2 events as Harley, a convention as an attendee and Harley Quinn Day at a comic book shop as a paid performer. My cosplay was handmade, safe for the wig, and lacking in Lego Harley's pads. But the colors were spot on and the wig was on point. At the con, not a whole lot of problems. I had a creepy Joker latch onto me all con, repeatedly getting up on my face and wrapping an arm around me, but at no point was I genuinely fearful due to the fact we were still in a crowd. I had a handful of people ask me which Harley I was, or go out of their way to critique my original design for her before I went on to explain that I was Harley from the Lego movie. At no point did I feel like I should shelf Harley. It wasn't that bad. I had a worse time that weekend when I cosplayed a podcast character that nobody was able to identify correctly. Working the event is what caused me to shelf the cosplay. I was working alongside 2 other Harleys, meeting and greeting people coming in for Harley Quinn merch and taking pictures. We were promised $20 each for 3 hours of our time. Wasn't godawful. Most cosplay performers do what they do for fun and will do certain events for free if they like the gig. In the email it said we could choose store credit or cash up front. Remember that. I got to talk to the other 2 Harleys between photo ops, and they started telling me horror stories. One mentioned she had been posted on cringe pages, which lead to people hunting her down to harass her and suicide bait her, all because she cosplayed Suicide Squad Harley, and people are quick to call Suicide Squad Harleys fake fans or say they're not real cosplayers. The other mentioned that she was touching up her makeup in the bathroom at con and someone cosplaying the original Harley grilled her, saying she'd never do Suicide Squad Harley because it's trashy. By the end of the event, the owner of the comic shop stiffed us. He gave us each 3 $5 coupons to the shop. I had to pull up the email to prove he'd offered us cash. After all of that, I was done with Harley. It's a shame. I splurged on the wig.